Hey guys, I'm Richard Fitzgerald. This is Dubai Works, where we interview the business leaders making a difference in this great city.
That business with scalability was very interesting to me.
I like building something that has legacy.
Good morning and welcome to another episode of Dubai Works Business Podcast. Today I'm going to have an exciting conversation with two founders, co-founders and partners. We're joined by Shaaista Osman and Osman, the CEO and MD respectively of Blue Blood Entertainment. So Blue Blood Entertainment is an artist and events management company created originally in South Africa over a decade ago. They both have over 35 years of combined experience as producers of shows, marketing, communications, and hospitality and logistics. The two pillars of Blue Blood, Osman and Shaaista, have continuously thought out of the box and have built the brand into innovative lifestyle and management empire. Today we'll talk about their story. We'll also talk about the events business during COVID, as is the current situation, and what's next for the company in the region. Good morning, Osman. Good morning, Shaaista. Thanks for joining.
Good morning, Richard. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
So, what's it like running a company together?
Exciting, challenging, wonderful, and crazy.
Richard, being married and working together, it has its perks, I would say, from my point of view, because, there's your personal aspect of life, and then there's the business aspect of life. And when the personal aspect, when you're in trouble as a husband, right? My advice is, or what I do is, I always bring up the weirdest or the most strangest thing that I'm going to do within the business. So when Shaaista, as my wife, is not talking to me, she always talks to me about business. Okay. So if I get the silent treatment, I go like, the company we bought, the one that we start, or whatever deal we got, I'm closing it or I'm selling it off or whatever. And I'm doing the stupidest thing. I'm selling it for $1. And all of a sudden she starts talking. And then the other perk of it all is I get to sleep next to my boss every day.
It's an interesting dynamic. We don't often have co-founders and partners, so that's why I opened with it. But it's an interesting dynamic, and that's a clever tactic. Well done.
So you're never in trouble. Like, I never get the silent treatment.
Yeah.
Well, apart from his tactics, it's a wonderful journey, because not only do you get to grow as a couple, but you get to grow individually with the support of someone that loves, trusts, and wants your best interest at heart. So it is really, really, when people call us a power couple or building an empire, it is really the heart and soul of Blue Blood as a family that we've built over the span that we know each other.
And I think ideally, working together as well as being married, the bottom line of it all is you need to know when to switch off. You need to know, there's a personal life, and that's that you're growing together, and there's a business element of it. Sometimes it gets confusing because you don't know where to stop.
I hear, as we hear some kids in the background, can you switch off, especially as a founder? Can you switch off? Do you draw lines? Do you, you're working now today and it's a long weekend in Dubai. So is there a line, or do you kind of just have a harmony between everything?
That's the beauty part of being the better parts of a power couple. And I know I've used this a second time, sorry. But that's the beauty part, is that when we don't necessarily need to be firing at all cylinders at all times, because we get to be the better part of each other's yin to yang, So Osman can be going like a Boeing, and I can kind of take my foot off the petrol for a little while, or off the gas, whatever the case is, and vice versa. So it's really a fantastic dynamic. But when we both got like giving it our all, that is when we are producing at a show, at the best of times. And the beauty part of our blessed industry is that we are in the industry of making people happy.
Yeah.
So
Or bringing
the mindset is, I think, especially with us, is we love what we do, and growing our business, being part of it, it's work. It's not work. You're not taking it that from 8 to 5 I'm doing things, and even if you're going till late and there's meetings and being a showman about it and going out and doing things, we're doing it together. But it's things
Richard,
that we love.
This is the born showman. This is the born showman. I promise you that. Frank Sinatra's "There's No Business Like Show Business" is this man's not only ringtone but theme song for life.
Okay.
I think with the coronavirus, unfortunately, from an entertainment point of view, globally, that has become non-existent. Now certain countries, especially in Dubai, we've been blessed that the leadership has been at the forefront of getting things to a new normal and being precautious and having safety at the top, at the top level of it all. But around the world, entertainment has not taken off. Broadway's closed. The West End in the UK is closed. I mean, 90% of the country's entertainment industry is non-existent. So with Corona having given us that setback, we've also innovated and pushed forward into new spheres, and try to build our business and keep our brand alive. I think it's a year of survival.
Interesting. And we'll go into that in more detail. It'd be great to get your views on how the industry is going to play out, because we see challenges in cinemas and other entertainment and shows. However, just to go back a little bit and to explain Blue Buds, but firstly, was it the relationship first or the business first, and how did Blue Buds start?
So, nice chuckle, this one. Budding friendship.
Yeah.
To falling madly in love, if I can say that. He fell in love first, by the way. No, it was absolutely mutual. And we kind of had a rocket speed romance into a beautiful marriage and a beautiful life and a coming together of families, as marriage does bring that. And Osman had his amazing company and I had mine.
And it was both in entertainment. So ideally, we come from a small community within South Africa. And, the dynamics of South Africa is, communities all live together. And we grew up in that environment, but we never knew each other. We both went to school in the same areas. And years later, we met each other by coincidence at a mutual friend who we were both doing business with. He used to do our design and artwork, and both of us were in events. Shaaista was more in the corporate event scene, and I was more in the community events and comedy stuff. And growing up, not knowing each other for those years, and I always believed at the time that I was the showman from a very young age. And everyone in my community knew me, and Shaaista said,
he is our community's love child. I've come to know and understand this, and love and appreciate it as well. But at the time, I never heard this guy. I heard his name, obviously, because he was doing the shows, and people would say to me, my family would say, we're going for the show, and Osman Square, as he was lovingly known at the time because of Osman, right? So it was known as Square. Square's doing the show. So when we met at this, we didn't meet actually. I went to do business and he was there doing business. And I was talking to this mutual friend of ours and he kept responding. And I just turned around and very abruptly, which is unlike my character, but I kept getting interrupted, right? So I turned around and I go, dude, who are you? And the whole store.
So the whole store, it was actually funny because there's probably around 30 people that were in the store. They go and says, you don't know him?
No,
and
they all go, literally, they all go. You don't know Osman Square? And I swear I felt it was staged. I felt like I was in a rom-com, comedy, sitcom, something like this. And I just look around and I go, what the dickens is going on here? And I look at this friend of ours, Rashid, and I say, what is going on? And he burst out laughing and he goes, Osman Square is like the love child of our community. How do you not know him?
And to me, I was shocked because, I started very young as an entrepreneur, not, it was I had to do it. I had to grow up early. I come from a broken home. I had a lot of responsibilities. And the bottom line of it all is I built myself in the community as a community youngster that was being entrepreneurial, that was doing events. And Shaaista claimed not to know me at the time. She still sticks by that story. But, from there, our friendship started. And it was, I was building myself in the South African community, South African comedy market. And Shaaista was doing a major charity event with UNICEF?
No. It was Childline at the time. I had just come off the back of a contract with UNICEF and FIFA for the child-friendly spaces for the 2010 World Cup, which was an amazing event, amazing experience to be a part of. So humbling and so encouraging all at the same time. It really put South Africa in a light that is truly South Africa.
Yeah, it was also the culture, and many people remember the Vuvuzelas and the
the Vuvuzela too. And Shaaista was doing this Childline event with I remember it was the safety houses or safe houses for women.
It was the Sunlight Safe Houses, so it was Women's Month in South Africa, which is in August, and there is 100 at the time. It was 108 women that took in children from all walks of life.
Oh, wow.
So I had put together a kind of a give back, kind of a day of spoils and treats and wonderfulness, And I went to this friend of mine and I said, you're a funny guy. Why don't you, because like in all our friendship and banter, he's a really hysterically hilarious guy. And I said to him, I need a comedian. Why don't you be my comedian for this event?
And I just started with South African comedians. I mean, the likes of Trevor Noah and, Riyad Moosa's, and there was a whole host of South African comedians. And I turned around and said, I'll get you the comedian.
No, he goes, I'll get you the comedian. And I go, who are you?
So I did this trade-off with her, saying I'll get the comedian for free. I was thinking, well, they're all my friends. I'm going to pay them. They're going to do this for me. So put my logo on your advertising. And then I called around, and I was going to get Trevor that day. And there was a whole host I had all these comedians ready. And then finally, I just had to pay for the comedian. All my friends, they all just come for free. One phone call when I do it, they just come. But, the back end story was... it was I think the best investment I made in life from that point.
Needless to say, the event was a phenomenal success. The women were really, really pampered, and Osman's intent in impressing me, but also helping a good cause, was definitely felt by everybody. And I think that was the takeaway from that. And I think a really beautiful budding start to what is and what you see before you today.
Yeah, so it's a nice story. Yeah, I can see how it kind of went from there. When did Blue Blood start? Was that the start of it? And how do you define an events and entertainment business? And how has it evolved?
So Blue Blood started in 2009. We met in 2010, got married in 2011.
And at that point, I had my own brand. Shaaista had her own brand. It was a merriment of minds. I think we both had that eventing background, and we were doing that for a number of years combinedly. And I wanted to keep my brand. My brand at that point was everything, and so was Shaaista's. And we were both helping each other Shaaista was doing events, I was doing events, but we were pushing our own company names and our own, our own brands out there. And it was in 2011 that we decided that, we need to come together. We're helping each other. We're working together. It's no use having two separate entities. So we decided the better of the two stays. And, Blue Blood, which, Shaaista built on the theme of royalty, was then, we merged. And I wear the logo proudly.
Nice. So Shaaista, yours was a corporate, and Osman, yours was more into comedy and entertainment.
Yes.
Was that the full offering at the start? And
So
how competitive and how easy was it? How difficult was it to kind of break into the event space in South Africa?
So South Africa is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful country, and so are our people. And in saying that, you know, it's a really beautiful story. I'm going to have him say it. We had come back from the gym the one night, and it was before we actually got married.
Yes.
And he was saying,
So,
you know,
that's when we broke into the Bollywood sort of market. Sorry.
yes, go for it.
But you know, to break into the industry, I think to a certain extent it was easy because we were young. People back, you know, believed they wanted the entrepreneurial spirit. But it was also difficult because you were coming into an industry that was dominated by people that were there for a number of years, and the barrier to entry was just a little bit harder. You know, from that point of view, and you know, there's a lot of advantages to South Africa, and there's a lot of disadvantages, and we come, you know, from a disadvantaged background, and we pushed and we went out. And Shaista's, you know, like Shaaista says, when we started in the Bollywood industry, we were sitting at home. We just come back from gym, and there was, you know, at that point, my family was now saying, you know, we have to get married, and we wanted to, and we were going to go and propose for Shaaista and do the engagement. And I had made a joke to say, you know, my mom's going to come with all of these gold jewelry because, you know, the Indian sort of tradition is the gold jewelry. And I said, they're going to be singing the song Chandi Jaisa Rang, which, you know, means like your hair is made out of gold. And when, you know, the song is by very, I would say, a legendary artist by the name of Pankaj Udas. And at 11 o'clock at night, I jumped up and said, I'm going to do his show. I'm going to do this guy's show. And I went to the internet, and not having that relationships in India, there wasn't anything that was harnessed. There was no one I could pick up the phone to and say, I want to get to an artist or whatever the case may be. And the world had become smaller with the likes of the internet and Facebook. And I went and searched until I got to his official website, till I got to his artist management. I woke up at 6 that morning and called their offices, because there's a 4-hour time difference, and booked the show, which was our first Bollywood event in 2011. 2011, in April 2011. And from there, the journey had started with entertainment, and we diversified our business. It was just myself and Shaaista at the time. We did everything.
So we were literally the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, and everything in between.
It was just the two of us, and we were coming into this environment of PR and marketing. I mean, I remember days where me and Shaaista used to jump in the car with the posters, and we used to go to all the traffic signals within Johannesburg.
This literally happened.
And I'd take these cable ties and I'd stand and then tie them, because I felt I could do it better, because if I was driving, I would want to see that poster at that traffic signal, so everyone would want to see it. And we would sit, you know, start at 7 in the morning and start doing PR and calling media houses and radio stations to get interviews. So, you know, the journey was, when people say, where do you come from? And that's what we find saying, like, where did you come from? It's always that 10 or 15 years of hard work that no one actually seen you put in.
Yes.
And then you're like, where did these people just come from?
You see, it's always the perception that, oh, boom, here you are, you know. But it's not. It's literally from us. It's digging the trenches together, growing the ranks together, building, harnessing relationships over time. And you know, the beauty part of being in Dubai, I always say this to him, and I say it's his hard work, because he really harnessed those relationships. He made sure that over this decade and these years, he's had and has come to grow a network of people that he can pick up the phone to and say, listen, I need this artist, I need to get to this person, or I need an introduction to that person, or can I introduce you, you know? And one beautiful aspect that Osman will always do is, if someone sends him a Facebook message, he'll always respond to it. Okay. Because he was the guy, and that was his barrier to entry in the comedy industry with Riyad Musa. And it was really, really amazing because he really just badgered Riyadh for a period, I think, of 3 years.
And I said this previously, with technology and the world, with Facebook, and I have this, whenever anyone sends me a message, I always respond to it, because I was the guy in 2007 that would send people a message via social media. And I perceive them to be titans of industry. I perceive them to be the person that you wanted to be your mentor, people that you wanted, to work with. They never responded back to me. And now I said, you respond to everyone. And a lot of opportunities come out of it, mind you.
Yeah. It's interesting. You're talking about, I'm sure these traits are still with you now, about attention to detail, having that one-to-one relationship with people at different parts of your business, even as the industry evolves. Just to get a sense of sort of South Africa and then Dubai in Bollywood, was there an appetite for it? Were there people doing what you did before? And for people who aren't too familiar with Bollywood, apart from the movie industry, the Bollywood and what you're talking about is live music, is comedy, is entertainment, is more than the movie business.
Absolutely. Look, I think Bollywood, and I was just saying this to him this morning, actually, okay? This morning. I said, Bollywood has always been the mystery and mystique of romance and love and passion. And it's always been, he said something so cute that was in an Indian movie once, very, very, very many years ago. He said, East or West, India is the best. And that just took me back. It took me back to my childhood of seeing these phenomenal Bollywood actors and actresses and their beauty. And good God, we didn't know at the time, being kids, we didn't know that they weren't singing the blooming songs. And you just sat there and thinking, oh my God, you're beautiful. You can interact so well, and then you sing like a nightingale, And I think that was really the premise of where this beautiful industry, this blessed industry that we are in now, stems from, where playback singers can come to cities all across the world.
And they've built their fan following.
Bring that magic and mystique to a stage.
With yesteryear back in the Bollywood environment, people looked at, the only access that they had wasn't accessible now with the likes of YouTube and social medias that are out there. It was on that VHS cassette. And people never really knew or cared much about the person behind the voice, right? And now, over the last decade, people have built the fan following and realized, yes, there's the Shah Rukh Khan and the Salman Khans of the world, but there's also the musicians and the artists that are singing behind them. And that has expanded into a billions of dollar industry across the globe. Whether it be just South Africa or in the Middle East, they're performing everywhere.
Can I ask you something? Do you remember those VHS cassettes and sitting at the radio back in the day and pressing rewind and play and record? Do you remember any of that? Or am I showing my age here?
No, I'm probably the same age or close. I remember very well, and I think it's interesting how media evolves, but the talent and the content can kind of transcend that as well. And yeah, it's just interesting for people to understand how Bollywood is an international brand, and seeing the appetite not only in Dubai, which we're aware of as we live here, but also in South Africa as well, and to know that there's a demand for that type of content there. It's very interesting.
South Africa has a very rich and deep heritage that comes from India. It's actually the 160th year that Indians have descended into South Africa. And it's a known fact that in South Africa, a place called Durban, beautiful city. There's more. In Mumbai you have a lot of Indians, and then the second place we always, it's a joke that it's in Durban. South African Indians came in 160 years ago as indigenous laborers to cut sugarcane on the farms. And it has evolved, and the heritage and tradition is still there. It's still alive, whether, we third generation South African.
I think the beauty part is also it's evolved into something unique. As much as the roots and heritage and culture will always be there, it is now not only an Indian culture, but it's a South African Indian culture that is a beautiful blend and mix of our African heritage as well. That's why, I feel like we are unicorns in Dubai, We're not Pakistani, we're not Indian, we're South African, and that comes with a mix of color and fusion and history and intrigue all at the same time.
And the standing joke of, at least we don't have it in Dubai, but pre-COVID we travel a lot, and the minute you say you're from South Africa, two things happen. They either tell you about their friend that they know in Zimbabwe or Zambia, and do you know him? Because they think South Africa and Africa is one continent. And the other is like, so there's lions that walk on the street with you. And I'm like, yes, and you can pet them as you're walking.
And it didn't help us that there was an actual South African production where they had a lion in the middle of the street in Johannesburg city center, so it didn't help our cause.
No, not at all. At what point did you choose to move to Dubai? And, early noughties, your business is taking off, you've got a community. Businesses like yours, the community around you is important, as I kind of see in Dubai. And it's hard to kind of look at a new country. And then just asking about why Dubai, because India is a market that's emerging or nearly emerged in terms of the size and the opportunity. Were you tempted to kind of take what you've done successfully in South Africa and maybe do it in India as well?
Our business evolved at such a rapid rate from an entertainment point of view, and it opened up into a number of facets within South Africa. And we felt we had, not being, being over the top, but we had conquered those industries. And our business was stagnating, with the grace of the Almighty. We felt that we were stagnating as individuals because it became monotonous in terms of what we were doing. We had established ourselves in the print and design, PR, marketing, with our entertainment business. And we wanted to be the global players, and we decided come out into Dubai. And
the next step, yes. The organic next step for us was venturing out into international markets. So look, we have our sights set on various different countries, but we wanted Dubai to be the first for us, We want to venture off into a few islands as well as obviously into the UK. Okay. And in saying that, the Middle East is really a fantastic footing to really get your feet wet in the international market, because it kind of brings the global space into one country.
Especially with Dubai. Dubai is at the center, I would believe Dubai is the center point of the world. Because, coming in and setting up in Dubai gave you that footprint to look at other markets, look at other regions. Whereas being within South Africa, yes, there's opportunities there, but we out here, doing things and trying to make things happen.
And what year did you move here, or have you moved permanently?
Well, we kind of be between the two, but now with COVID being what it is at the moment, we are rooted firmly in Dubai, and happily so. We, this past couple of months globally and on a humanitarian and a very human level has been very humbling, I'm sure, for all of us. We can all agree on that. But in Dubai, it has really been awe-inspiring because the leadership here, the government, the people, and when I say the people, I don't only mean the Emirati people, the entire global community that is here has really come together to keep each other safe, to be conscientious, to be kind, to be considerate towards each other. And that has been, I think, very, very inspiring for us as a family and as entrepreneurs.
Yeah, nicely said. I think you echo a lot of sentiment that people are feeling. They feel not only very safe in Dubai in general, but an extra kind of concerning aspect of, we work with different government entities, and their only focus at the moment is the health and safety of individuals. And I think that shines through. I think it's really, really, impressive.
On that note, we did one of the first Bollywood show, COVID consciousness, and we coined the phrase.
It was with Sonu Nigam. And it has become the new normal, and it's become the blueprint that promoters and countries around the world are trying to replicate. They've taken it from Dubai. Doing the Sonu Nigam event, we've done hundreds of events, whether it was locally or internationally, international artists. It was that much difficult doing, because you weren't just marketing the event, you were marketing how safe you're going to be within that environment. You were taking a venue which had 4,500 people, and you were now putting 1,000 people, and you had to make that work from a numbers point of view, whether it was financially and a break-even point of view. And that's what it's going to be going forward, I think, for the short term, up until there's a vaccine.
Well, with God's grace.
That's how entertainment's going to be done, the new socially distant events. And it was quite a task, but it was a challenge that we loved. It was a challenge I think we pulled off.
Wasn't it? It was in the middle of the summer. One of our colleagues.
It was in August. Like, everyone around the world turned around and said, Dubai is crazy. These blue blood guys are crazy. How the hell are they going to get it right? And we had that support. We had that support from the Dubai government. We had the support from the likes of DGCM, the venues that were there. They wanted to see how this would be done. And we all collectively did it in the safest possible way. And it's become a blueprint. It's become that blueprint that event organizers and venues across the world are looking at. And we get calls all the time asking, this is what we think, you've done it, help us, advise us. And we've been doing that.
From every single aspect of that particular show, from the rehearsals to the setup to the actual production of the show, the logistics of the show, then the actual rollout of the production, every element was a complete new norm.
And the amazing thing with that is very, very soon people will be able to see that entire behind the scenes as well as the concert, because we're putting that up on one of the OTT spaces where a COVID conscious show was done, and how easy and difficult it was to put it on within these environments and during this time. So we had the entire thing recorded, it was shot in editing phases now, and everyone gets to share in that journey.
I was going to ask, that's amazing that you're telling the story, and of course streaming and OTT and connected TV is really popular now. And we had the MD of Book My Show Middle East on this podcast a few weeks ago, and we discussed a lot about ticketing and virtual events. Is that something that Blue Blood Entertainment is exploring as well, or are you focused on new normal concerts and shows?
We are very focused on partnering with the best of the best, and I think that really resonates in Dubai, whether it is your venues, your ticketing partners, your PR, your marketing guys. It's really a culmination of coming together to bring a show to life, right? And like I said to you, this one's a born showman, and I suppose I am too, a showwoman. But in essence, we are very passionate about bringing people together to bring about a happiness. And that is our key and core focus. Because we always say that we're in a very blessed industry.
Well,
we're in the industry of allowing your memories and your reminiscence to come to life. Because you hear a song And it reminds you of your mom, your dad, your wife, your child.
Everyone tells these things to their memories. But also with COVID, one of the things that we've realized at a business is that we need to evolve. We need to keep on figuring out how the new normal is. And yes, to answer your question, we have ventured into looking at different platforms, different avenues. And, you know, I think in the next 2 months, we'll launch with some major projects within those spheres.
Within the online space, yes.
Within the online spaces, because, you know, we all never seen this coming. We never seen Corona coming. We never anticipated that, you know, we believe there was a problem that would have been sorted out in China and wouldn't reach anywhere across the world. Today it's in every country around the world. And we had to evolve, and we needed to diversify in terms of business. And it's all Shaaista's craziness in terms of, you know, with the online spheres, things that she's created.
Well, I'll take credit for one thing, the COVID conscious show, and I kept harping on about COVID consciousness,
Yeah.
and you wouldn't believe it. The week of the show, all the articles that were written were COVID consciousness, and he looked at me, he just said, "This is your madness, you know. This COVID consciousness is your madness." It's a phrase that you coined when we started this 3 months back, and I said, you know, this is what we need to do, because the word COVID or Corona is so feared, or people really just run away from it, you know. And I said, we need to own it. We need to own it, because 2020 is the year that this is what was prevalent for all of us globally. Yeah. So if we are conscious of that, we have COVID consciousness.
Yeah, it's amazing. It shows great resilience that you kind of, you know, you took that on early on. I think that's how businesses have survived during this, that they haven't necessarily hibernated, that they've made the best out of what they did. And whether it's doing what they did before in a COVID conscious way, now I'm saying it, or if they're doing it with adding a bit of, you know, virtual or digital, or just innovating within their business. I think it's interesting. What do you think of, I meant to ask earlier when we're talking about Bollywood, do you think there's an image crisis going on at the moment? Is there a bit of, you know, reshaping or rebranding needed, or how do you see that at the moment?
I think the world's in a reset. Everything's at a reset in terms of it. You know, yes, if you look at it, I think there's always been issues, and in every industry. I think
in every country,
you know, there's always been issues. And if you take what's happening in Bollywood, it's you know, Bollywood has always brought the drama. It's always brought the you know, the pizzazz to it. So it's living up to its true expectations of what it is. But it's not something that hasn't been there. It's been there for generations. Yeah. Just being now, there's more avenues for people to talk about it, for people to see it. There's more channels in terms of it. Before it was limited. So when you found out, and then you'd had all of these magazines, there were these magazines that you could buy at the newsstands many years ago. That was your form of getting the information, but it came down to you weeks later, months later. Now you get it as it goes. So yes, I think there's a reshaping. I think to a certain extent, it needed to be done, but I think it's always been. You know, it's been there. It's just, you know, and it's Bollywood, man. People love it. It's entertainment. You know, sometimes you think, is this thing staged? Are they for real?
Yeah. Look, I do think there's a jaw-dropping factor to all of this. And, you know, people's lives have been affected by it, and that's no laughing matter. Lives have been lost over it, and that is certainly very devastating to many people. And our thoughts and prayers go out to all people who have been negatively affected by any form of it, you know. But in saying that, life evolves and changes every second of the day. Yeah. And I, you know, with this whole thing that's happening, the evolving and the new, it's like my daughter tells me, she says, "Mommy, this chrysalis of this butterfly, this caterpillar, is going to become this butterfly. But you know, it's going to die along the way, and then another butterfly will come. And that's the beauty of life. And that's the beauty of every single industry, is that it evolves, it's anew, and then it changes again. And it changes again. And I think this with Bollywood is pivotal for right now, and it needs to be addressed well. And everyone having an opinion about it is going to be just that. It's an opinion.
But I think, if you take it not just in Bollywood, in life today, up until we all got put into lockdown and realized that, the corona situation, everyone was just pushing away. There was no time to sit and look back and see what was going on. So a lot of people have found their inner self, have spoken out about it. And look, I mean, good things are still to come out of it. So,
I feel like 2020 was that year for everyone where they felt, I know for us also, it felt like Icarus, like you were about to touch the sun. You were like, you were just there, almost, and then
you got burnt.
And then God went, go back to your space. and it's a reset. It's a reset. And you know what? Nothing bad comes from a reset.
I think just asking, I know you worked with different nationalities and you worked in comedy in South Africa. I'm talking about Bollywood in particular and Indian culture because, in Dubai, we cover a lot of it. We see the reaction when the stars come. The IPL has been huge, so popular. These guys are international role models. And when we see India as well, in terms of the global status quo, the geopolitical space and everything like that, and technology and investments internationally. And, I think how stars and how celebrities are a national export is important. We see with movies out of China. So that's really why I'm asking about Bollywood and Dubai and UAE and the wider region, is how the international exposure and attention on an economy, 1.2 billion people that's really emerging and is going to be a big player globally in the next decade or so.
Mm-hmm.
So not really a question, just really kind of a view that there might be. It's just interesting for the world to kind of see these stars and how they express themselves.
The thing is, I would say up until about 15 years ago, no one, yes, people knew about Bollywood, but it was like an industry like in Nigeria, the Nollywood. If you're Nigerian, you care about it, it means something to you. If you were Indian, Bollywood meant something to you. Bollywood, it means something to you, but Bollywood has now transcended into a billions of dollar industry. Yeah. It's transcended into, everyone knows it. And the way they've placed it is phenomenal. Like you said, India is going to be, in the next decade, it will evolve, it will change, it will become more of a superpower. They have more exports and they are role models. And, it's very interesting to have witnessed that, from our business, in terms of, where the artist started off and where they are today. I mean, a thing like an artist like Arijit Singh, right? We did his first international concert in South Africa. And at that time, he had one song. Today, 5 years later, or 6 years later,
the repertoire is amazing.
He's a global phenomenon. He is one of the most sought after, playback musician, singer, and he's done shows across the world that, they've sold out. But he started off, and where he is, it's a huge dynamic.
If I can come to your statement or question, is that a lot of countries view artists and role models in different ways. And being in Dubai has really showed me the real true beauty of how presentation is so important, right? I, as a South African Indian, used to follow South African bloggers and vloggers and some international Americans, some Europeans, some Indians, some Pakistani, but I not necessarily would have gone and followed an Arab or Lebanese blogger, and now I find myself following them more than anyone else because I'm in the region, right? And your geo-locking picks up these people. And that is so important. That's so pivotal, because as a role model, okay, and I see this now with the Emirates Arab Women Awards, and all the highlights that came along with that, is you're talking about role models. This is such an amazing spectrum that you have and that we have in Dubai, because we don't only have Indian or Pakistani or just one particular role model. It's a spectrum of life from all across the globe, and that is truly, truly amazing.
I think you've captured exactly the Dubai melting pot and the diversity in the culture. Really nice to chat to you both. We will watch the documentary when it comes out, but this is another insight and background to how the company is formed. And pleasure speaking to you both. It's been really interesting conversation. Thank you.
Thank you so much for all the support you guys gave us with our last event. And, you know, there's a lot more to come out. We've got up with COVID, you know, having the blueprint. We've built that calendar, that roster.
So we've got a great international calendar that's going to be released very shortly for Blue Blood, not only Africa, but Middle East as well, and globally as well.
And we hope to have you guys part of that event.
Looking forward to it. I will attend more of them myself, and glad that they're organized in such a safe way. Thank you so much.
Come on and dance the Bollywood way with us, man.
I'll try. Two Irish left feet I have.
Well, don't worry about your left feet. It's all in the shoulders.
It's all in the shoulders. That's it. Cool. Thank you so much, man. Cheers. Bye-bye.